Have you ever thought to yourself, snails are slow, but I wonder what would happen if snails were fast? Yeah, me neither. But this is the central concept behind DreamWorks' 2013 animated masterpiece, Turbo. I'm not going to rehash the whole movie and all of its various and sundry issues since that's been done before, but I do want to briefly recap the story so that we're all on the same page. Snail dream of racing, of speed. Snail make many mistake trying to race. Snail depressed, so go watch cars to feel better. Snail fall into car, absorb
nitrous oxide,
live for some reason, and become snail car hybrid. Rest of movie, snail overcome prejudice and learn humility. Snail meets hero, but hero not good, he bad. Snail race, almost lose, but win. And that's it. That's Turbo. Outside of the funny and somewhat interesting premise of snail but fast, almost nothing unique or anything of any substance actually happens in this movie. Turbo remains basically the same character throughout the entire film, and so do most of the side characters. Some examples would be his brother, who is basically a plot device meant to motivate Turbo at the end of the film for a cheap emotional payoff that had almost no prior setup. Guy Gagne, the main antagonist, who didn't even need to be a villain for the plot to work. The story could have been identical, nix this detail, and literally nothing would change. They could have still had the crash happen at the final moments of the race, and Turbo still could have gotten his big win with maybe just a more chill, supportive Gagne. Or they could have gone for a more Real Steel type of ending where Gagne still wins, but Turbo is the people's champion. Actually, that's just starting to sound more and more like Cars. Most, if not all, of the major character beats occur right at the end of the film, thus lacking any semblance of depth or sense and losing most of their impact. It's not a horrible film, it's fun to watch, but I definitely wouldn't place it in the same category as other superior animated movies from the same era, like The Croods, Megamind, Rango, How to Train Your Dragon, The Lego Movie, just to name a few. However, most people generally agree that Turbo is at best mid and at worst abysmal dog shit. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm actually here to ask some basic questions, since no one in the movie could be bothered to. Let's dive in. I am convinced that not a single human in this movie has any shred of common sense or intelligence whatsoever. For example, why does no one question the fact that this snail can travel at speeds of over 200 miles per hour and not explode? Why can he receive and play music from radio frequencies? How did he grow brake lights inside of his ass? How do snails understand English and Spanish? Why would a snail even want to race except so that it could go fast? I'm not entirely sure what Turbo's motivations are beyond this. And we're not even scratching the surface of the questions a person with a somewhat functional frontal lobe would ask when confronted with a superpowered, seemingly sentient snail, like, how the fuck did nitrous oxide give him speed powers and transmogrify his organs into car parts? Could this happen to other living beings, or is it just snails? If it can, what would happen if a human drank some? What would that even look like? Would their feet glow and their souls become tire-like? Would their heart transform into a little engine, their stomach into a gas tank? Would they grow brake lights in their butt cheeks? I mean, imagine if the government found out about all of this. They could make a whole new breed of super soldier. We as a society wouldn't even need cars anymore. In fact, why didn't the Taco Brothers and the other failing business owners think to lease or sell Turbo to the government for research? They could have probably made so much money that they'd never have to work another day in their lives doing that. Although I guess they already get plenty of money from being his sponsors during his races. This isn't even considering all of the other questions that this movie poses, questions whose implications would completely alter our current understanding of biology, physics, and chemistry, such as, if snails are seemingly sentient and capable of understanding humans, does that mean other animals can too? If nitrous oxide can completely alter living organisms on a molecular level, do other substances have such transformative properties? Like, if I eat honey, will I turn into a bee? Are the cars in Disney's Cars just humans who drank nitrous oxide? Ultimately, I don't have answers to any of these questions, and Turbo doesn't either. And that's just a truth that we're all going to have to live with.